conquest, domination, trust of the people, and charisma. All things to make a great leader and ruler over their people.
And don't forget a shit ton of power and a condescending attitude.
Oh yeah, that too. That does kind of narrow down our tyrant dictator list for matchups though.
Just spin the wheel and we'll see what we get.
I was hoping for Anima, but this is fine.
Dr. Doom, the fantastic force of doom from Marvel Comics.
And Gilgamesh, the grand king of heroes from FEUD.
Now, let's see which ruler will prevail in this fictional feud.
Down in that Romani camp near a Latvian town that nobody can pronounce, but I sure will try. Two members of the Von Doom family lived and breathed for a short amount of time.
And if you're gonna guess already by their last name, someone in this family is going to be evil. It'd be really awkward if no one in this family tree was a shitbag with the last name Von Doom.
Personally, I would have gone with alternative titles for the family names, such as Von Evil, Von Villainous, Von Vile, Dick Dastardly.
But unfortunately for the world, the Von Doom family had created that evil child with the birth of Victor Von Doom.
To face doom is to face one's end.
What a quirky guy. I sure hope nothing bad ever happens to him. That's a hint for later.
Yeah, Doom didn't have the greatest life growing up. His mom died striking a deal with Mephisto, and his dad died to the harshness of a cold winter.
Sounds like a bad case of motherless and fatherless behavior. Better get the milk.
However, things started to look up for Doom after a while. He got a scholarship to a nice university in New York, and generally seemed to have a better outlook on
Womp womp. He got epically pranked by Reed Richards and Ben Grimm, who, to put it lightly, he didn't really get along with. But hey, that's what happens when you put living mates and then one giga chat in the same room, I guess.
But while Doom could handle Ben's physicality, you could not say the same about Reed's intellect. While both were extremely intelligent, later creating some busted as fuck machines, Doom was arrogant to a fault, and Reed Richards was, well, Reed Richards.
This all came together as Doom built a machine to astrally project himself into different dimensions, specifically to save his mother.
But Dr. Dumbass here had his calculations off, and even when Reed literally told him they were, he didn't listen and the machine exploded, getting Doom expelled and with a scar.
After this, Dr. Disgrace fled to some freaky monk guys who helped him build a badass armor and mask.
That's what the point of the mask is! Anyways, with a new armor and a whole lot of bitterness in his soul, Victor lived up to his newfound name, returning home and overthrowing the King of Liberia.
Doom had succeeded in his next stop on his world tour of Doom, world domination. How do they do that?
It just comes naturally, I guess. But besides that, he had one small issue that was going to halt his world domination. He lives in the verse with like a more billion different hero groups.
And that, of course, includes the Fantastic Foursome with his rival, Reed Richards, waiting for Dr. Dig to turn into a five-sum.
Hey, fucking yo!
In all seriousness, though, Dr. Doom has quite a bit of fighting experience, being able to fight basically every Marvel hero villain under the sun, including Hulk, Thanos, Thor, Reed, and even Jonesy Fortnite.
One of those is just a wee bit usable than the others, but yeah, Doom is very obviously on a multiversal scale of power, being able to contend with the aforementioned heavy hitters, like Jonesy Fortnite.
Doom himself once killed an alternate dimension Uatu.
Uatu is a watcher which should be comparable to the Celestials due to their cross-reality dick measuring battles.
Hell, he's just straight up fought Celestials anyways. You can even contend with those in similar power to Hercules, who lifted the cosmos themselves.
All of this should scale to his durability as well, given his armor and shields defend from the same top tiers. But onto speed, Doom should very easily be able to scale to the multiple infinite or even immeasurable feats.
One of the more notable ones would be the Silver Surfer, a character who many people have fought among Doom himself, known for his feat of outracing the destruction of all space and time.
So yeah, that's kind of the stupid comic shit we're dealing with here.
Comics kinda stupid. Who decided they should be so strong? I'm looking at you, Dan.
And the hacks only makes his point more valid. Doom melded together the powers of science and magic to get some stupidly strong powers in heck.
Doom can control basically every element, make insane force fields, instant hypnosis, a device that swaps minds, hundreds if not thousands of Doombots, teleportation, invisibility, matter into energy conversion, straight up magic, adaptive defenses and offenses in his armor, and that's only a fraction of what he can do, Glow. I am out of red.
Sure thing. Doom has the ability to control time in many ways: portal creation, side manipulation, healing tech. I'm gonna stop now so I don't bore you with a 5-page essay on Doom's powers.
But the one that has to be noted above the rest has to be his power siphon. The power siphon has the power to suck the power of Cosmic out of any sucked hero or villain that had been sucked by his sucking power.
And believe me, it's a lot of sucking. Like when he sucked the power of the Silver Surfer, Galactus, and even the Beyonder, who can do this bullshit.
With all this magic and tech that is basically also magic at this point, it's no wonder that he was a candidate for the Sorcerer Supreme. Oh, and if it wasn't obvious, Doom is like one of the top tier big brains in Marvel, playing 12D chess games worth of planning against the likes of Reed Richards and Tony. Doom even has insane hand-to-hand fighting skills. Just watch any MVC player. Not a goal though.
But despite all this bullshit, Doom still loses to the heroes of the world time and time again for 2 reasons. A, plot armor. B, his own arrogance and tomfoolery. And C, squirrels. He is not a fan.
Yeah, Dr. Dipshit's life really is his own fault, isn't it?
Kinda, but even if he falls down, Doom will continue to fight for the world he wants, and one he controls and one where humanity becomes one, Doom World.
Moral of the story, don't, and I mean don't, fuck with the MF Doom.
What, you're too good to talk to me? How does that bad guys that—
Miss Van Dyne, I am not some common criminal that can be distracted by your prattling. You are nothing to Doom, and your pathetic attempts to play mind games with me amount to exactly less than nothing. So please, stop embarrassing yourself.
Okay.
In the far, far distant past, and in the now forgotten land of Uruk, 2 motherfuckers were in charge.
The king Lugal Bando and the goddess Ninsun. One day when they were feeling particularly horny, I guess, they wanted to have a child, and 9 months later that child would just plop right out.
But you may be wondering, what is the name of the child who inherited such a kingdom? Well, many know him by the legends of old. In this tale, he was fated for a different story. The legend himself, Gilgamesh. Small issue. He was ruling during the downfall of the Age of Gods.
The gods wanting to live on nominate Gilgamesh as someone who can observe humanity.
And to give themselves a cushion for the future, they created Enkidu, someone whose goal is to bind the king to heaven, although they dropped Enkidu during Gilgamesh's youth.
And during said youth, he was very much with the dick dictatorship, because this guy was an absolute tyrant.
Basically, if you were a guy, he forced you to build monuments in his honor. If you were a woman, he would force you to have sex on your wedding night in his honor.
If only he had sex with men.
Shh! We will talk about Enkidu in a second, Hippo!
Fate does really appeal to everyone, huh?
Anyways, suffice to say, his citizens weren't the happiest bunch, so they prayed upon the gods for judgment against the mad tyrant, and judgment came when Enkidu showed up.
And then they started to just absolutely Wait, what do you mean they don't? That's disappointing. They fought tooth and nail to a stalemate. Gilgamesh was impressed, and considered Enkidu a close friend, and then the two would join forces to find someone as strong as them.
And after that, their friendship blossomed, so much so that when Enkidu declared himself a tool, Gilgamesh said, "No, you're an equal."
After a while, a goddess by the name of Ishtar was, to put it lightly, a little interested in Gilgamesh.
Hippo, my boy, that is a drastic understatement. She really wanted Gilgamesh's cock, so she said that she would be his lover. Like, I mean, I don't blame her. He is very hot.
Well, he wouldn't have a naked super form if he wasn't. But Gilgamesh pulled a Sigma male / Vaden / white / Dern / base / Redfield move and rejected her advance's Sigma style.
She didn't take it that well and threw the bowl of heaven at his front door. And the gay couple take it out and all is well.
But the gods weren't a big fan of this and decided to kill Enkidu. Wait, they killed him? No! I guess Gilgamesh felt the same as I do and was destroyed by this news, but was told by Enkidu not to cry over him. I won't, dear beloved.
What ended up happening is that the chains of heaven permanently resided in Gilgamesh from there on out, as a reminder of his only true friend.
This would also cause Gilgamesh to fear his own mortality, so he would set out and find this one motherfucker in the land of the dead.
Gilgamesh was told that if he wanted immortality, he would have to join the gods, and well, he did not want to do that, but there was another way.
Basically, if he got this herb, it would grant him immortality. And he would get it, and with it, return to the surface, and thus was recorded in the history of the world as a hero.
Sometime later, some fancy rich asshole wizard man acquired an old ass snakeskin, and with some outside help would summon up Gilgamesh to assist in the war. The Holy Grail War.
And let's just say, there's a reason he needs some outside help. This MF is an absolute menace.
For starters, this guy retains his treasures from his early years. The treasures of original noble phantasms, and they were all stored in the Gates of Babylon. And this would lead you to believe that he would take them out one at a time and fight with them.
No, he just shoots them bitches out like cannons. So this guy's a walking artillery gun filled with magical ornaments. He also has some massive chains that can bind people, dubbed by Enkidu the Chains of Heaven.
He also has some force fields he can summon. And finally, the big one, Ea, a sword that only he possesses. This thing is more or less the original noble phantasm. It has the fun ability to send a shockwave out decimating anything.
It also has this one last ability, Enuma Elish. Basically a big fuck off blast that makes most of Fate and the Nasuverse afraid. And with that, that's a nice transition into scaling, and oh boy, that's a doozy. Yeah, that's a nice transition. Good little thing, fuck you.
Okay, here we go. First off, with this Galactus, Enkidu caused the world to shake multiple times over, and said Earth had this thing called Avalon, which is a 6-dimensional realm that transcended all of Fate. Another example is in Fate CCC, he's able to go toe-to-toe with BEB, someone who has control over a moon cell, which is a very dense thing with multiple layers inside, multiple of which are multiversal or higher. And at full power, Enuma Elish was stated to be comparable or even better than Avalon. So this very well places him into multiversal, into complex multiversal territory of power. And also thanks to fighting multiple people who transcend space and time, he's also immeasurable in speed.
With all that power, he formed a pact with someone who had some blind ambitions. And with Gilgamesh recorded, he deemed everything that belonged to him, especially Artoria Pendragon.
However, he took a keen interest in one man named Kiri Kotomine. After a bit of back and forth, Kiri decides to kill his old master and form a new pact with Gilgamesh. And with that, they would challenge Artoria Pendragon and her master, Kiritsugu.
To which Kiritsugu would shoot the Grail and would just drop a hell dump on the world. Gilgamesh at the center of it just took all the curses and got back up and started to help out with Kiri.
And through mana healing and child orphans, he would live in the real world, although much weaker. But when time came to the next Holy Grail War, he was tasked to take out Artoria.
And through a long and grueling fight, one move decided the outcome, when Enuma Elish was nullified with Avalon, thus ending his reign.
But before he left, he gave his final goodbyes to Artoria, almost reflecting. Remember that thing that caused him to be a hero?
Yeah, the herb?
Well, after he gained it, he got a little dirty, so he found a spring to cool off, reflect, and relax after a long journey. Because a king must be clean to present. Well, he made the great choice and decided to place the herb down, to which a hungry snake ate it up.
And before Gilgamesh noticed, the snake already shed its skin, causing the herb to take effect.
And Gilgamesh actually giggled a bit. He realized that it is not about the destination, but about the journey. His mortality was something that he should cherish, and when he came home, he looked over the country he led, and he was already immortalized by his people. And he would continue to lead his country to greatness.
So, if you ever try to take over Rook, be aware of their badass leader, Gilgamesh.
I was ordered by him to survive.
Your loyalty is splendid. Never allow anything to tarnish it.
Will Dr. Doom seize the resources of Uruk and prove that he lives up to his name?
Or will Gilgamesh defend his country and take over Liberia as his own?
Find out in this fictional feud.
Greetings, inferior. Doom has arrived to seize the plethora of resources your land entails. Doom recommends giving them over before you face my wrath.
Ah, fellow king, quite an overstatement to call me inferior when you're too cowardly to face me man to man.
Who needs to be a man when I'm already a god?
Man, you're quite ambitious in your words. Let's see if you live up to it, mongrel. Try not to bore me. Man, you mongrels really like saying that. How about you say it up there? Really knows his theatrics. It's time to put you down, you revolting, nauseating, filthy excuse for a king! This will finally shut you up. Do you really think a pathetic mind swap like that is going to kill you? You have finally gotten my full attention. Aya! A stage worthy of you has been set! Look up and behold, the star of creation, Enuma! Now, I give you permission to be silent at the hand of your new king. That's odd. What the hell did you take?
Everything. We don't know the extent of Doom's wrath, but since you talk about the stars, go join it. Doom wins.
Now, are we sure that wasn't a Doom mod? Because that's clearly how easily Doom should take this fight, right?
Well, nah, this fight is actually decently close. For starters, they both were straight up equal stats.
For starters, Doom can obviously fuck up super powerful dudes like Thor, Hulk, and Galactus, who have plenty of their own absurd multiversal immeasurable feats or scaling.
And Gilgamesh fighting fuckers such as BB, who got through and took over a literal multiverse like it was nothing. And again, by virtue of being a being who transcends space and time, he is also immeasurable.
So both would be on relative footing in terms of stats. But that's where the deciding factor would come down to hacks, intelligence, and experience.
Which, in short, Doom takes this category pretty handily.
Yeah, he kinda has time manipulation, matter manipulation, space manipulation, mind manipulation, basically any ability you name that could mess up Gilg, he probably has it and more to throw out.
Gilgamesh really only has the force fields, Aya, Gates of Babylon, and Chains, and his future sight, which can be countered by Doom rather easily.
And when comparing force fields, Doom also has them, which are far more powerful, being able to defend against multiversal celestials. And as far as the Gates of Babylon, which allow Gil to use every noble phantasm, he really doesn't like using them that much, making it a weird win con to presume that he'd actually want to use it when it's something he really doesn't normally use. Along with the fact, Doom has experience fighting magic and phantasm beings anyways, outright having built-in defenses with some of his own magic and armor.
And I think it would be pretty disingenuous to say that Doom couldn't break out of those chains if people on similar power levels could, like Hercules.
Which leads up to the big topic, and is probably the most important thing to really decide this fight: Enuma Elish versus the Power Siphon.
Unstoppable force versus immovable object scenario. But despite literally making the whole Nasuverse afraid of that thing, the Power Siphon has been able to snatch power from people like Galactus and Beyonder, who threaten the very infinite multiverse with their power.
So while Gilgamesh could potentially have the raw power to destroy Doom in time, if Doom just pulls out the Power Siphon, it's Jover. And the only time it didn't work was when it tried to hit the Scarlet Witch, who really isn't anyone to scoff at in terms of power. It was probably more negating it because of a resistance, rather than power absorption being too weak to outright absorb it.
And the final point is that Doom is just far more cunning than Gilgamesh. And by no means are we saying Gil is a dumbass, because he's incredibly intelligent, but Doom would just be able to slowly egg Gilgamesh on into breaking Aya out, to which Doom would just hit him with the Power Siphon.
Also, for the sake of argument, if Gilgamesh really could use all this stuff to put Doom down, let's look at Doom's possible win con options as well. Oh, yeah.
So, despite both being very powerful in their own right, the God Emperor himself was far more cunning and far too loaded with hacks to make Gil accept his fate as being doomed.
The winner is I'm Dr. Doom.
Hey y'all, just want to say thank you guys so much for the absolute god tier support on Spawn versus Doomslayer and this episode. Hope you enjoyed it as well as we bring more to the future, baby.
Yeah, just so you all know, we're not only doing a third episode,
yeah,
but we're also doing a Halloween special in between.
Yeah, baby. So yeah, you know what? Let's roll that shit, shall we, Hippo?
No.
Die.
I was flipping through the channels. He lived in a pineapple. All I saw was static. Man, what the hell is happening? He had hyper-realistic eyes. You will be the next to die. The spooky, creepy, spongy guy. I promise I'm not telling lies.
Whoa,
Whoa,
that was that's
holy
crazy.
shit, that
Whoa,
was crazy.
whoa.
I know, right? Like,
Whoa,
absolutely.
whoa.
I can't believe it was Huggy Wuggy versus Ban Ban. Am I right?
What? That's crazy.
I know.
I
right?
actually.
I'm gonna. I'm gonna. And also, if you want to vote, and we held a poll in our Discord server, which you should join for this matchup. So you
Do
know,
it.
so
Do
yeah,
it or
you should-
die.
You should join our Discord server, but also you should sub to not only me but also Hippo because he was big help. Because he's a co-host.
Yeah, you know what? You should have subbed to me and not go.
Die.
Yeah, fuck you. But with that out of the way, let's do our trailer for episode 3.
Yeah.